This water just keeps rising. You can see to my left here a huge body of water. It looks like a lake or a river, if you will, and I'm standing just inches from the water, and I'm not exactly sure how deep it goes, but it's just feet from Old Mormon Bridge here right off of I-29. Well, John, in my hand here I have a piece of this fence, and you can see this giant hole. This is where that plane initially landed before eventually landing a few feet down in front of a driveway. I'm told once that possible tornado or storm, if you will, once it touched down, it lasted all of 10 to 15 seconds. And in that time frame, you can see all this damage here. This table overturned. Here to my left, and police believe that it may have video cameras that captured everything, so they are looking at that. Hopefully they can find answers there, but again, still early in the investigation, but we will keep you updated as we continue to gather more details. We had heavy rainfall overnight into this morning, and you can see what's left behind, a pool or a lake of water. I'm not exactly sure how many feet there is here, but you can see on me it goes up to my calves, and if I walk back any further, it could very well be waist deep. And you can see over to my left down the road here, there are some cars. Now that water was up to the middle of those car doors, so it has gone down just a little bit. And John, Melissa, this is where deputies and medics responded to a call for a wreck just hours after a child died at another crash scene. Aubrey Trail testified for 4 hours admitting to killing Sydney Loof. Now, both attorneys on both sides of the case gave their arguments, the defense saying it was an accident. Well, John, Melissa, $8,000 is up for grabs, and officials hope that encourages anyone with any vital information to come forward. Super hyped, super pumped. We're super excited to see them out there. There we go. Just when you thought Henry Doorly Zoo and Aquarium couldn't get any better, right behind me here you can see construction is underway to bring a brand new sea lion exhibit. They do not call this an aquatic spectacular for nothing. I mean, look behind me. Look at this talent. So awesome. Now the show travels city to city, and they're here in Omaha, obviously. Well, James Waverly, for a first-time event, Arch Omaha is certainly not doing too bad. The event is sold out. There's going to be thousands of people here. And the thing is, this is not your ordinary Sunday gathering. It happened right here on 60th and Ames. Police say 2 parents parked their car right outside this home, stepping in just seconds before witnesses saw the car rolling down the hill.
And the car was driving down the hill backwards at at least 25, 30 miles per hour.
Markel Davis describes chilling moments as a car with no driver in sight heads towards the busy intersection of 60th Avenue and Ames.
And then the passenger door was open, so when I seen him, I was that's an accident.
Davis says the car hit the median at the bottom of the hill, sending 7-year-old Diego Degante airborne, landing in the middle of the road.
And I happened to just look, and I'm like, that's a kid, so I ran over there immediately.
He says Degante was unconscious when he picked him up.
So once I picked him up, I waved some cars down to call the ambulance, but luckily a cop was coming down the street.
Police and paramedics on the scene within minutes. Degante rushed to Nebraska Medicine. He suffered a skull fracture and a brain hemorrhage, but Davis says it could have been much worse.
The street light was red, so there was about 12 cars that could have been coming this way when the car was coming down the hill, that even if no one was in it, could have definitely still hit other cars or kill someone else. So it definitely was a luck.
Now that young boy was taken to Nebraska Medicine with critical injuries, but police say they're not life-threatening. Reporting near 60th and Ames, Niyah Gonzalez, KETV News Watch 7.
Record river flooding leaving bridges submerged in water, and this one closed after parts of it washed away. Many residents left with one source of transportation: boat.
It's interesting every morning, and I have to dress nice for school, so trying to cover all of that up and then change out of mud boots and all of that when we get up to the top is interesting every day.
This family, the only people you'll see on the rough waters. Commuting through rain and wind may seem a little overboard, but teacher Katie Ryan says it's a better alternative than driving on 4 wheels.
If we have to drive, there's really bad county roads, and on a day like today it'd be terrible, but it takes an hour on a regular day.
The commute to town, hundreds of extra miles, forcing these sisters to stay close to school, away from their parents.
It would take so long just for us to get to school every morning. It's hard. We don't get to talk to our parents very much.
And it'll be months before things get back to normal. The Department of Transportation saying a temporary bridge won't be in place until August. Niyah Gonzalez, KETV News Watch 7.
Unloading corn and into a bin. We were moving corn and taken from one place to the other.
63-year-old Kurt Kaiser has been a grain farmer for more than 40 years, but it was one simple mistake that could have cost his life.
If I could have got by that first load, unloading, I think I'd have thought of it or seen it, but I was in that routine like I always used to do, and I didn't think of it.
He says he stepped out of his truck, turned around the corner,
and stepped in the hopper in that little hole. It just sucked my leg in, and I was trying to pull it out, and it kept pulling.
And there was no one around to help.
When it first happened, I can remember telling myself, this ain't good. This is not good at all.
Kaiser couldn't find a cell phone to call anyone, his desperation growing.
I thought, how long am I going to stay conscious here? You know, because I didn't know what to expect. And then I felt it jerk me again. I thought, well, I was going in, they're going to grab me and pull me in further.
And he was left with just one option.
Then I had my pocket knife in my pocket. I thought, well, the only way I'm getting out of here is cut it off. So I just started sawing on it.
He amputated his own leg.
When I was cutting it, the nerve endings, I could feel them just ping every time when I'd start sawing around that pipe. And all at once it went and let me go. So I got the heck out of there.
He then army crawled 150 feet across the farm to the nearest phone to call for help.
I stayed conscious all the way to the hospital. I remember I'm being unloaded up here and on life flight.
See, this is really challenging his balance.
Now Kaiser's healing up, going through therapy at Madonna Rehabilitation Center in Lincoln.
He pretty much told me his goal was, I need to get home and get back to what I was doing before, and his main goal is farming.
The front wheels don't turn, the back wheels do.
Despite what happened, Kaiser's occupational therapist Danny Willie says his attitude has been extremely positive.
I ain't too bad.
Pretty nonchalant about everything that actually happened, like it was no big deal.
It is what it is. Make the best of it is all you can do. I mean, it could have always been worse.
He was released from the rehabilitation center on Friday. He'll continue healing until he can get a prosthetic leg, but he wants others to learn from his mistake.
I paid the price here of being in a hurry and not paying attention, basically.
In Lincoln, Niyah Gonzalez, KETV News Watch 7.